Hey team, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nobuhle Khumalo and you are watching the investing series. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a live demonstration of how to buy these shares. I will be using two apps that I currently use that are South African. So if you're not based in South Africa or don't have a South African bank account, you might not be able to use these. However, let's get on with the video. So because we've already discussed the basics of investing, I'm going to be flying through some of these topics because the main aim of this video is to actually go onto the market. So less yaba yaba, more ching ching. If you do want to follow the conversation on other social networks like your Twitter and Instagram, let's use the hashtag AskMissK. That way we can all actually see each other's questions and you'll also be able to see my responses. This will also give you a chance to see any threads that I do on any other socials because I'm not only present on YouTube, I also do have Instagram as well as Twitter. Anyways, let me start talking and let me head into the video. And before I forget, these videos do not constitute financial advice. Please do seek a professional if you need one. This is a conversation from one friend to another, as I've said. And also, if you don't really want to see the whole video and you want to jump to certain parts, I do have timestamps in my description box. However, I would encourage you to watch the whole video. Cool, let's get into it. Alright, so the first investing app that I use to buy shares is Franc. I just want to give you guys a bit of background about the Franc app before we dive in. This is just so that we are still making sure that this is a registered app. Like I always told you guys, you need to make sure that the government is aware of this app because if you lose your money, there's no person you're going to cry to if they're not registered. So with regards to Franc, they are a registered FSP, financial services provider. Their FSP number is 49998 and this is found on the Franc app. So whenever you open the app, you'll see the FSP number right at the bottom. I do have a referral code for this app, so if you want to use it, it is Nobuhle1, or you can actually use the link in my description box. But I'm also happy for you guys to download it straight from the App Store or Google Play Store. And if you don't want to use my referral code, that's also okay. However, you can use it. I think they do sometimes give you guys incentives, like they might be like a free 50 Rand to invest if you use that referral code. The monthly fee, so I like being transparent, so before you even download this app, I want to tell you what you can expect to pay. It is 1% per year of the value of your investment, and then there is a monthly fee of 5 Rand per month. However, if you make a deposit in that month, you will be exempt from this fee. So basically, if you invest, they won't charge you. Years I've been using the app, I have been using the Franc app since July 2022. I've actually done a couple of videos on the Franc app, so if you do want to check those out, I'm happy for you to do so. I'll leave the links in my description box so you can have a look at those later on. Okay, cool. And then last question, children's account. Yes, you are able to open a children's account on the Franc app. So now we're on the Franc app. Okay, there you see the FSP number at the bottom. Okay, it's loading now. And the first thing you'll see is your portfolio. So I've got money in here and it actually tells you guys that I've been an investor since July 2022. So at least I'm not lying. Okay, so when you get on the Franc app, let's just ignore everything that's happening on mine. My percentage has dropped, but we will cover that. So the first thing you want to do is create a new goal. You click plus and then they'll ask you what you're investing towards. So you can kind of pick whatever relates to you. I already have an emergency fund, so I don't want to do that for the purpose of this video. So I'm going to say I'm saving towards a holiday, okay? And then they ask, do you want to save towards a target? So basically, are you trying to reach a specific amount? Or do you want to invest regularly? Thing is, I'm trying to save to go to Dubai. So I don't know if I have a target, but also, what if I want to save for like a little Drakensberg trip? Okay, let me save towards a target, it's fine. And then what I actually like about the Franc app is that they'll ask you how much you want and how much you're willing to save. So it asks you enter your target amount. So to go to Dubai, let's say I'm going to need 50,000. I haven't actually done my research. I probably should have done that. And when do I need this by? Let's assume I'm going to Dubai next year. Next year this time, actually. And they are saying I need to choose the very safe. So you can actually click on that to kind of see the other investment strategies that are available. So very safe says steady, inflation beating return. Basically, it's higher than inflation. Highly unlikely to lose money. Okay. And they say best for people who are going to invest for 0 to 3 years. Okay. Then when you look at safe, they say this risk profile has low risk and ensures that your money grows steadily. And it's best for people who will be saving for 3 to 5 years. Annual growth is about 7 to 8.5%. The other one, very safe, is 7%. This one is 7.85, well, 7 to 8.5 rather. Then there's a balanced, so you take on some investment risk in order to grow your money. And they estimate the annual growth to be 8.5% or to 10%. So you see it's slightly higher, but they do say that this is best for people who are going to invest for 5 to 10 years, so a bit longer. And then there's the bold. Basically, annual growth can be as high as 15% per their estimations. Guys, remember, when they estimate these, it's not certain. So this is an investment. They are hoping, or they think it will become 15%. It could become way more, but it could also be less. And then there's a custom one where you kind of choose for yourself. This is for your more experienced investors who can select their portfolio mix. Okay, now that we're here, I actually want to discuss the choices available. So it's either you put money into the cash fund, which is the Allan Gray money market, or the equity fund. This is where you invest in shares. And as you guys can see, they are investing in the Satrix 40 ETF. Remember, I told you guys about the ETF. It's that basket of shares. So it's currently sitting at 50-50, meaning some of the money will be in the money market and some will be in the ETF. Money that is in the money market, guys, will earn interest. Money market, this is like with a bank or an investment firm. Here it's Allan Gray. And the money market is very safe. The money market is like leaving your amount in a bank. You know it's going to be there. The capital is protected. However, you will get interest. Whereas with the Satrix 40 ETF, this is actually in the market. You are actually investing and anything can happen in the economy. So what happens is a lot of us have been seeing red in our Franc app. And I'm going to get to it. But the reason you're seeing red is because you probably have a lot of equity fund in your investment. But for my Dubai trip, I'm going to make it safe. Maybe it'll be like my honeymoon. So this is saying I need to be investing 2,350 Rand per month to reach this goal. I like this because it automatically calculates for you, so it actually puts it in your head. It's okay, if you really want to go on this trip, this is how much you need to be willing to part with every single month. And if you want to do it weekly, sure, you can put 520 Rand per week. Maybe that will actually make it better. Some of us do earn weekly, so it's like only 520 I can do. If you think you can't do monthly or weekly and you want to do an annual, hey, it's not gonna work out, my friend, because you said you want to go on holiday in 2025, which is potentially a year away. So basically you're going to need the entire thing. So basically, why are you even doing this goal? So anyways, I'm just going to pick monthly. That makes more sense for me. And I'm going to click go. Then they say your target date is less than 3 years away. We highly recommend that you do not take on any investment risk, which will ensure that your savings are protected and you can earn as much interest as possible. So another thing that I like about Franc is that they actually do offer financial advice. I always say I don't do it. The app actually does. This is financial advice. This is them telling you, Sissy, whatever you're picking is probably not going to work according to your favor. But I'm going to say okay. But you, because yours is not a joke, maybe you must listen to them. But for me, this is a joke. Chances are, if I end up going to Dubai, I might not be paying for everything. I might go on an influencer trip. I might go on a work trip. I might go on a honeymoon, you know. So maybe this 50,000 is just going to be spending money. But anyways, let's just save. Fine. And then they kind of summarize it at the end. This is your target, your money contribution. And then they show you how much is in the money market. So I've got 80% in the Allan Gray money market. And then I've got 20% in the Satrix 40 ETF. Happy with that. So when you want to make a deposit, you'll go into your app and you'll say deposit. And there are two methods. Either it is the EFT, where you actually deposit directly onto the app. You actually have to log in using your banking details. Or you can actually send money via your banking app. So you leave the Franc app, go to your banking app and actually add Franc as a beneficiary, and then you send money to them. So the EFT is instant. You'll get money in there immediately, whereas the banking app might take 2 or 3 days to reflect. When you want your money, so you can go to whatever goal you want to withdraw from. So I'm going to go to my emergency fund, and then I'm going to click on withdraw. And they'll ask which fund do you wish to withdraw from, so cash fund or equity fund. So remember, because of my strategy, I've got some in the Allan Gray money market and some in the Satrix 40. So I'm going to say I want to take out of my equity fund. Okay. And then they'll ask you how much do you want to withdraw from your equity fund. They tell me how much is available. So I want to withdraw 1,000. Minimum withdrawal is 100 rand. Okay, actually let's just do 100 rand. And then they'll ask you where to. You specify the bank account. This bank account is something you've already loaded in your settings when you were setting up your account. However, you can edit it if you have an issue. And then when you've clicked the arrow, they will ask you, are you sure you want to withdraw your money? You have worked so hard to save your... You will only have 3 free withdrawals left after this withdrawal. Yes, continue. Okay, I don't want to withdraw right now, so I'm not going to do that. However, it should take about 2 to 3 days for your money to reflect. Okay, cool. So to track your progress, you can actually see it right there at the top with the portfolio, and then you can see that the number is in green, meaning we are in profits. And I'm currently on 34 rand profits with only 0.61% return. This is looking very sad. Like, this is actually very sad. And then if I swipe, you guys will be able to see what my cousins and I have, but I don't want to show you guys because that's not my personal funds. Okay, and if you actually click on your personal goals, so I'm going to go to my emergency fund, you can actually see how it is actually split. So I've got in my cash fund, so the Alan Gray money market portion, I've got a 6.6% return. And then in my Satrix 40 ETF, the equity portion, I am at a negative 1.36. I am at a loss. So basically my Satrix 40 ETF is pulling my entire portfolio down. Hence I'm sitting on a 0.61%. And guys, I know a lot of people are very upset about this. And when I did another video, a lot of people are like, oh, Frank, you never get such a high return, because on my app I had 7% at that time. Guys, it depends on when you actually put in the money. But also I just want to say, it's not a Frank specific issue. Frank is not doing badly. It's actually just the equity market. So South Africa is going through quite a bit of a turbulent time. We've got the elections coming up, so there's a lot of political instability. We have a high unemployment rate, which has gone higher this year than it was last year. So obviously a lot of investors are a bit shaky. People are pulling out of South Africa. We also have a lot of talent leaving the country. So all of that, you know, will trickle down into the economy. This is why they say investing has risks. Someone who invested last year wouldn't have foreseen that this would happen. However, as someone who has been investing for over 9 years, I know that this shouldn't scare me. Literally, I'm just gonna ride the wave. Things always pan out. So do not panic when you start seeing reds. Do not panic when you're not getting the returns you want. Wait it out. The last thing you want is to exit when you're in red, because you would have made a loss. So you either wait until you're on green and then you can take out your money, or you just leave it, because, you know, I did select that I was going to be here for 10 plus years, so I'm not worried about this. If you're still tuned in, drop me a comment saying thanks for the plug, Miss K, just so I know that you guys are still tuned in and that we're on track to continue. Alright, so let's run through some of my favorite features of the Franc app. Number one, I like that it's simple. So if you're a beginner investor, not really sure what to invest in, don't really know what companies give out dividends and all of that, but you just know you want your money to grow, Franc is perfect for you. 2, I like that it's goal oriented. So a lot of us do save and invest for these figurative things, but we don't actually really know what we want the money for. However, when you have a goal in mind, so when you know it's an emergency fund, or when you know you're saving for a house deposit or your wedding or a vacation, it gets exciting because you get closer and closer to your target. And also the fact that the Franc app does the auto calculation, it makes it realistic. You know exactly how much you need to save to reach your goal, and if you're not putting in the money, you're probably not going to reach your goal. So I like that about it. 3, my absolute favorite, the shared goals. I love this portion. I think it's because I really also love my family, so anything with community always will tug at my heart. So recently my cousins and I started a shared goal where we put in, I think, 300 rand per month, and the aim for this is for us to actually use this money at the end of the year to have like a nice December amount of money. So if you want to go out or you want to go on holiday, we can potentially do this. Like, no one is going to say, oh, I'm strapped for cash. We know how much you have in the Franc app, bro. We're literally going to withdraw it. Also, I do believe in the future this is going to continue to grow. So basically, I think this is the type of fund that we're going to use. Like, if someone has a death in their family and we need to support them, I do see us withdrawing from this fund, because it's like, we have this money. You might not be able to help someone with the money you have in your bank account, but if we use the Franc, we can all contribute equally. And then if someone else has an issue again, we do the same thing. And then lastly, the team is very responsive. So if you have any issue on Franc, whether you deposited and your funds aren't showing after 3 days, whatever the case may be, their team is really, really responsive, and I like that. If you're going to be housing my money, I need you to respond ASAP. So shout out to Franc for doing that, and I think you guys will also enjoy that too. Now moving on to my least favorite features. Of course, I have to be objective, so I do kind of have to give pros and cons. With Franc, I really don't like that there is no international exposure. So because all of my equity is within the Satrix 40 ETF, it means that if the South African economy isn't doing well, my Franc isn't going to be doing well. I don't really like that. I wish it was more diversified. But recently we did get a notification telling us that Franc is going to introduce some international markets. I signed up for that, so I'm really excited. I hope they launch it soon, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. So at least they've heard our cries. Like they heard us saying, guys, we need more international markets. And then number two, I'm also not a fan of the fact that I can't really pull out any reports or statements. So you know, on most investing apps, you want your tax statements so that you can actually declare for tax purposes, or you just want to track your investments and see how many dividends you got and all of that and how much interest you got. However, because Franc is like a stock file, so the entire basis of the Franc app is that it's a stock file, however it's online, there are no reports or statements available on the app. However, if you do want something like this, you can actually email the Franc team and ask them to give you a transaction listing of your account. Anyways, I just have a couple of parting tips, and actually these tips are more for me than for you guys. One thing I want to do this year is I want to set up deposit reminders. So I find that I'm not depositing enough because I kind of forget. So I do want to set deposit reminders on the app. 2, do not panic. Just because it's red, relax. It's just the South African economy. It will eventually go up. 3, read the Franc website. So the Franc website actually has a lot of information, and not just the website, they even have newsletters where they explain certain things. So I actually have taken some time to start reading these, and it actually helps manage my anxiety quite a bit, because it's like I'm not happy about what I'm seeing, but then there's an article saying, okay, this is what has happened, and then they'll kind of break down, and it also helps you as an individual in general just get an understanding of what's happening in South Africa. So I like that. 4, follow the Franc team on Instagram. This will give you more insights, and also you actually get to see more regular posts. And then 5, if you are going to be doing the shared goal with a group of people, please make sure that you pick your admin very carefully. Remember that as much as you guys can all see what's happening in the account, it's very transparent, so every member is able to see who put in what. However, the admin is actually the only person who's able to make the withdrawal. So the last thing you want is to appoint an admin who's going to take all of your money, pay off their personal debts, then run away. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, please tip me with a like. And if you have any comments for me, whether it's things you liked about this video or things you didn't necessarily like, let me know in the comments. You can use the hashtags #investing_series and #AskMissK, just so I can track the conversation well, and others can do so as well. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.